A quiet man builds a fence for peace, but a ruthless HOA boss cries foul, demanding cash and demolition despite no membership. Vandalism strikes, secrets unravel, a son, a lawyer, and a neighbor fight back with proof of fraud. In a tense courtroom, corruption crumbles, inspiring a town to rise. Will justice hold, or shadows linger? Dive into this gripping tale of grit and triumph that leaves you wondering what's next. Detroit's winter bit hard in January 2025. Its streets a jagged web of rusted steel and broken dreams where Precinct 12 stood as a fortress of corruption. Four cops, Decker, Ruiz, Malone, and Tate, ruled with iron fists. Decker, 42, broad and brash, led with a voice that boomed threats over alley deals. Ruiz, 38, lean and cunning, tallied their take with a ledger's precision. Malone, 40, silent and brutal, left marks on faces and pavement. Tate, 35, twitchy and wiry, erased their tracks in flames or trash bins. They'd shaken down dealers for years. $5,000 here, $10,000 there, pocketing cash. Silencing cries with fists or fire. Untouchable, they thought. In a city too weary to fight back. It started January 15th. A dealer named Jamal Brooks, 29, wiry, with a scarred cheek from a prior run-in, refused Decker's $5,000 demand in a back alley off Gratiot Avenue. "Ain't got it, back off," Jamal spat, hands up. Decker's eyes glinted. He nodded to Malone, who stepped forward, silent as death. Malone's fist cracked Jamal's jaw. Teeth flew. Blood pooled on the cracked asphalt. A wet thud echoing off brick walls. Ruiz counted the take $300 from Jamal's pockets, while Tate torched his beat-up Chevy that night. Flames licking the dark, tires melting into the pavement. Jamal vanished hospital, then gone. A ghost in Detroit's underbelly, but whispers reached a bar on Woodward, then a Fed's ear. Elena Voss, 45, FBI director, sharp eyes behind a calm face. Sharper mind honed in Chicago's dirtiest precincts, caught wind by late January. Jamal wasn't the first. Dealers had disappeared before. Shopkeepers paid hush money. Witnesses recanted under midnight visits. Voss had cleaned up worse. She saw Precinct 12's rot and aimed to rip it out. February 1st, she planted Officer Daniel Perry, 26, fresh-faced and quiet, in their squad wired with a mic no bigger than a dime. Eager to prove himself, a mole they'd never suspect. "Blend in, record everything," Voss told him over coffee in a D.C. diner, her voice low. Perry nodded, packed for Detroit. By March, Perry's tapes piled up in Voss's locked office. Decker's growl, caught mid-shakedown. "Pay or bleed," punk Ruiz counting stacks in a precinct basement. Malone's grunts as fists met flesh. Tate's panicked. "Burn it fast, cops are coming." June brought bank records, $200,000, funneled offshore to a Cayman account. Deposits matching their hauls. Voss built a dual trap local charges to lure them into court, federal ones to crush them when they thought they'd won. She posed as Elena Carter, assistant DA, filing extortion and assault counts by October 20th. The four smirked at their arraignment. Greg Tatum, their slick lawyer, whispering, "We'll walk." Sure their luck would hold. Perry's first week in Precinct 12 was February 10th. Decker slapped his back too hard in the locker room. "New blood, keep up, kid." Ruiz handed him a coffee, eyes narrow. "Don't ask questions, just do." Malone stared, silent, sizing him up. Tate jittered, muttering about a clean slate. Perry played along, Mike hidden under his collar, catching Decker's next shakedown that night. $3,000 from a bar owner on Cass Avenue. Malone's knuckles red after. "Split it 4 ways, Ruiz said, scribbling in a notebook, Perry's mic humming. March 15th, Perry saw Malone beat a kid 18, caught with weed behind a gas station, ribs cracking under steel-toed boots, while Decker laughed. Lesson learned. Tate burned the kid's backpack in a dumpster, flames flickering. Ruiz pocketed $200 from his wallet. Perry's stomach turned, but he nodded, voice steady. Tough night, huh? Decker grinned. Gets easier, Rook. April 20th. A raid $10,000 seized from a dealer's stash. Only $2,000 logged. Ruiz splitting the rest in a back room. Perry's mic catching every word. By June, Perry's tapes numbered 50 hours of threats, beatings, cash counts, plus photos he'd snapped. Ruiz at an ATM, Malone wiping blood off his hands. Tate with a gas can. Voss met him June 25th in a Dearborn motel. Her suit crisp despite the heat. Enough? Perry handed over a USB. More than offshore accounts theirs. I traced a deposit. She nodded, eyes glinting. Good local baits next, then federal hammer. October 20th, the arraignment. Decker smirked. Ruiz winked at Greg. Malone sat stone-faced. Tate fidgeted. They'd walk, they thought again. Clayton County Courthouse loomed over Detroit. November 10th, cold and gray. Wind rattling bare oaks outside as a crowd gathered. Reporters, shopkeepers, cop loyalists in blue. Decker, Ruiz, Malone, and Tate slouched in the dock. Navy suits wrinkled from a night in holding. Smirks, wide local charges of extortion and assault up for dismissal. Greg Tatum Ponchi, slick, tie too bright, leaned back, confident. Judge Amos Harrow, 60, weary behind thick glasses, presided over a packed gallery. Cops like Sergeant Kane glaring. Mr. Patel from Cass Avenue clutching a notepad. Elena Voss entered at 9 o'clock, suit crisp, hair pulled tight, playing Assistant DA Elena Carter. They didn't blink. Court opened at 9:15. Greg stood, pacing before Harrow's bench, voice oily. No evidence, Your Honor. Witnesses vanished. Jamal Brooks gone. Statements lost. Case flimsy as tissue. He waved a thin folder. Grinning Decker elbowed Ruiz, chuckling. Malone stared ahead, stone-faced. Tate fidgeted, laughing low. Harrow adjusted his glasses, peering at the docket through the courtroom's hum. Prosecution, anything? Voss stayed seated, silent, flipping a pen. Greg smirked. Nothing, see? Waste of time. Harrow sighed, gavel poised. Charges dismissed, technicality. No proof presented. The gallery murmured. Decker's grin widened. Ruiz clapped Malone's shoulder. Tate's laugh rang out. Victory. Again. Greg packed his briefcase, nodding to them. Told you easy. Voss rose, slow, voice cutting the din like a blade. One moment, Your Honor. I'm not done. Decker snorted, loud. Ruiz rolled his eyes, muttering, Drama. She stepped forward, heels clicking on hardwood, gaze locking the room. I'm Elena Voss, FBI Director. This isn't over. The room froze. Decker's jaw twitched. Ruiz's smirk vanished. Malone's eyes narrowed to slits. Tate's laugh died mid-breath. Harrow stammered, glasses slipping. What's this? Voss dropped a thick file on the prosecution table. Wiretaps, photos, bank stubs spilling out across the scratched wood. Federal case extortion, racketeering, assault, evidence tampering. They're done. Decker barked. Fake bullshit. Voice echoing off the walls. Ruiz hissed. She's bluffing. Nobody's got us. Voss pressed a recorder. Calm Decker's growl crackled through. Pay up or bleed, punk. Jamal's whimper followed. A wet crunch as Malone's fist struck, bones snapping. Photos hit the bench. Ruiz stuffing $10,000 in a duffel. Alley shadow stark. Malone mid-strike. Jamal's face crumpling. Tate torching the Chevy, flames sharp against the night. The gallery gasped. Reporters scribbled. Kane's jaw tightened. Patel nodded slow. Greg shot up, tie flapping. Improper. This is a local court. No jurisdiction. Voss turned. Voice ice. Federal warrants override issued 6 a.m. Executed now. She nodded to the back. 6 agents burst through the double doors. Black vests gleaming. Voices barking. Hands up now! Decker lunged, roaring. You bitch! 2 agents slammed him to the floor, knee on his back. Cuffs snapping tight. Ruiz sank into his chair, muttering curses in Spanish. Malone stood rigid, glaring as cuffs clicked. Tate begged, I'll talk, don't shoot! Hands shaking high. Harrow pounded his gavel, voice lost in the chaos. Order, order! Voss stood unmoved, arms crossed, wiretap still playing. Decker's threats looping. Greg flailed. This is ambush unfair! Harrow leaned forward, glasses fogged. Federal truly? Voss handed him a warrant, red seal bold. Signed, served. Agents hauled them out, Decker kicking, Ruiz limp, Malone silent, Tate sobbing. Day one ended in wreckage. Their celebration ash, the gallery buzzing, justice dawning, raw and loud. Voss turned back to the recorder, her voice a steady anchor in the Clayton County Courthouse's rising storm. This is April 20th, she said. Pressing play, Decker's bark crackled. 10 grand or your shop's ash. Followed by a scream. Malone's fist, thudding into flesh, Ruiz's calm. Log 2, keep 8. The gallery flinched. Jamal's jaw tightened, his wired teeth gleaming. Mr. Patel gripped his notepad, nodding. Greg Tatum leapt again, tie flapping. Hearsay unverified. Voss handed Holt a sealed envelope. Certified by FBI text chain of custody intact. Holt peered over his glasses, nodding. Admissible sit, counsel. Perry stayed on the stand, voice unwavering. May 10th, Ruiz split $15,000 from a raid precinct basement. Tate burned the dealer's ID in a trash can, said no trace, no case. Photos landed Ruiz with cash stacks. Tate mid-torch, flames licking a driver's license. Decker lunged forward, cuffs rattling. Lying punk, I'll gut you! Agents shoved him back, his chair scraping. Ruiz muttered, Shut up, idiot. Malone's glare sharpened. Tate's hands shook, eyes darting to Voss. Perry pressed on. June 15th, Malone broke a kid's ribs, 18, weed bust. Decker laughed. Teach him young. I saw it, Mike got it. Greg crossed, sweating. You planted ideas, pushed them. Perry met his eyes. I followed orders theirs. Recorded what they did, no coaching. Voss dropped bank stubs. $5,000 wired offshore. June 16th. Time-stamped. Matches Perry's tape, she said. Holt leaned forward. This account, who owns it? Voss pointed. Them joint shell, Cayman Islands. Greg flailed. Circumstantial, prove it. Voss slid a deposition, Jamal's name bold. He saw the cash change hands. January 15th survived to tell. The gallery buzzed, Kane's fist clenched. Jamal stared ahead. Holt tapped his pen, voice gruff. Recess 2 p.m. This is a mess. Decker glared at Perry as agents led them out. Ruiz whispered to Greg. Malone flexed his cuffed hands. Tate whimpered. I didn't mean it. The gallery spilled into the hall. Reporters swarmed Voss. FBI director, why now? She brushed past. Justice waits for no one. Day 2 tightened the noose. Their smugness unraveling, Detroit watched, breathless. Wednesday, November 12th. Detroit woke to frost and headlines. FBI stings Precinct 12. Cops in cuffs. The courthouse gallery swelled past capacity. Jamal sat front row, jaw wired, eyes burning. Mr. Patel brought his wife, whispering. They took $3,000. Cop loyalists like Kane huddled, muttering. Decker, Ruiz, Malone, and Tate shuffled in at 9:05. Orange jumpsuits creased. Decker's lips scabbed. Ruiz's shoulders slumped. Malone's silence heavier. Tate's eyes red from crying. Greg adjusted his tie, shirt soaked. Harrow took the bench at 9:15, glasses fogged. Day 3, prosecution more. Voss stood, voice cutting. Their victims testify today, proof, beyond tapes. She called Jamal Brooks 29, limping, scarred cheek, pale against his dark skin. He swore in, voice hoarse through wired teeth. January 15th, Decker demanded $5,000. Alley, off Gratiot. I said no, Malone broke my jaw, 3 teeth gone. Tate burned my car saw, the flames myself. Photos flashed. Jamal's face swollen, blood pooling. Chevy's charred frame, tires melted. Decker snarled, Liar, never happened. Jamal stared back. You laughed, called me lesson 1. Greg crossed, voice shrill. You ran drugged up, unreliable. Jamal lifted his shirt scars, crisscrossed his ribs. Ran after this Malone's work. Sober 6 years. The gallery gasped. Patel's wife clutched his arm. Kane's glare darkened. Holt leaned in. You saw them all? Jamal nodded. Decker ordered, Malone hit, Tate torched. Ruiz watched, counted my $300 like it was nothing. Voss played the tape. Decker's growl. Pay or bleed. Jamal's scream matching his scars. Greg flailed. Coerced Fed lies. Holt overruled. He's credible next. Voss called Mr. Patel, 50, thin and graying. March 15th. Decker took $3,000 from my bar, Cass Avenue, said, pay or close. Malone broke my door. Ruiz counted. Tate burned receipts. Photos landed. Patel's busted lock. Ashes in a bin. Decker muttered, bullshit. Ruiz sank lower. Greg crossed. You paid consent. Patel shook. Paid to live gun to my head. Holt scribbled, voice sharp. Gun? Patel nodded. Decker's black, cold. Voss dropped a tape. Decker's voice. Next time, it's loaded. The gallery stirred. Kane's knuckles whitened. Holt recessed at noon. 2 p.m. This gets uglier. Decker glared at Voss. Ruiz whispered to Tate. Malone's fists clenched. Tate sobbed quietly. Day 3. Piled bodies on their crimes. Detroit scars spoke loud. Thursday, November 13th. Frost thickened. Detroit streets hummed with rage and hope. The courthouse gallery overflowed. Jamal sat with Patel. Victims filling rows. Kane's crew glowered, outnumbered. Decker, Ruiz, Malone, and Tate entered at 9:10, jumpsuits stained. Decker's scowl fierce. Ruiz's eyes hollow. Malone's silence a wall. Tate's hands trembling. Greg's tie hung loose, shirt untucked. Harrow took the bench at 9:20, glasses slipping. Day 4 prosecution, finish it. Voss stood, voice steel. Their patterns clear. Victims, money, cover-ups. She called Maria Ortiz, 32, barista, bruised arm shaking. April 10th, Decker, find my shop $2,000, no reason. Malone smashed my counter. Ruiz took the cash. Tate burned my books. Photos flashed, counter splintered, ashes in a sink. Decker barked, she's lying. Maria stared. You said, next time, your face. Voss played a tape. Decker's snarl. Pay, or I'll break more than wood. Greg objected. Hearsay. Holt overruled. Tape's verified next. Voss called Perry back. June 20th raid, $10,000 seized, $2,000 logged. Ruiz split the rest. Decker ordered a witness roughed up. Malone did it. Tate burned the stash. Photos landed. Ruiz with cash. Malone's bloody knuckles. Tate with a lighter. Decker roared. Rat dead man! Agents gripped him. Ruiz slumped. Malone glared. Tate whimpered. Greg crossed. You framed them, Fed plant. Perry held firm. I watched, recorded, they ran it. Voss dropped bank records, $8,000 wired, June 21st. Their account again. Greg called Ruiz, voice shaking. Mistakes overzealous, not corrupt. Voss crossed, slow. You logged $2,000, pocketed $8,000 mistake? Ruiz stammered. Paperwork lost track. She flashed the tape. Ruiz's voice. Split it clean, 8's ours. He froze, speechless. Holt leaned in. This pattern intent? Voss nodded. Racketeering, Your Honor, systematic. Holt recessed. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., closing. Decker glared. Ruiz muttered. Malone flexed. Tate sobbed. Day 4 buried them deeper. Detroit's eyes burned. Outside, Detroit pulsed crowds, swelled by noon. Shopkeepers like Patel cheering, They're done. News vans lined Woodward Channel 7's anchor. FBI tears. Precinct 12 apart 4 cops face decades. Jamal faced a mic, voice hoarse. They broke me, now they're broken. Inside Precinct 12, Kane rallied loyalists in a basement locker room. 10 cops, fists tight. She's next Fed bitch, won't last. Voss knew. Her car tailed that night, headlights cutting fog off Jefferson Avenue. She gripped her phone, texting Perry, "Watch Kane." The city split hope flared in beaten corners. Anger simmered in blue ranks. A note hit Voss's hotel at midnight. "Back off or bleed unsigned." Kane's shadow looming. Jamal rallied, victims 5. Morse Friese stepped up by dusk. A bodega owner, ribs cracked, a teen arm burned, scars matching Perry's tapes. Voss prepped for day 5 closing arguments, justice clear. But Detroit's wounds ran deep. Kane's threat a live wire. The city's pulse restless. Detroit's streets churned as dusk fell. On November 13th, crowds swelled outside Precinct 12. Shopkeepers like Mr. Patel banging pots, chanting, "No more!" News vans clogged Woodward Avenue Channel 7's anchor, breathless. 4 cops face federal doom. FBI Director Sting shakes Detroit. Jamal Brooks stood on the courthouse steps, jaw wired, voice raw. "They broke me. Now they're broken. More's coming." Inside the precinct's basement, Sergeant Kane rallied 10 loyalists, blue uniforms, fists tight. "She's next fed bitch won't last. We hit tomorrow." Voss knew her car tailed again that night. Headlights slicing fog off Jefferson. She gripped her phone, texting Perry, "Kane's moving, stay sharp." The city split wide. Hope flared in beaten corners, bodegas and bars buzzing with defiance. Anger boiled in blue ranks. Locker room whispers of revenge. A note slid under Voss's hotel door at 1 a.m. "Back off or bleed unsigned," ink smudged, Kane's shadow heavy. Jamal rallied victims by midnight, 5 more stepped up. Luis, a bodega owner, ribs cracked by Malone in March. Deshawn, a teen, arm burned by Tate in May. Scars matching Perry's tapes, voices rising. Voss prepped for day 5 in her room closing arguments. Justice clear. But Detroit's wounds pulsed raw. Kane's threat, a live wire. The city teetering. Friday, November 14th, dawned frigid. Frost glazing Detroit's cracked pavement as the Clayton County Courthouse, brimmed gallery, packed to the rafters, standing room gone. Jamal sat front row, jaw wired, eyes fierce. Mr. Patel and Maria Ortiz flanked him. Victims row, swelling. Luis and Deshawn joined, scars bared. Cop loyalists like Kane lurked in back, outnumbered but glaring. Decker, Ruiz, Malone, and Tate shuffled in at 9:05. Orange jumpsuits faded. Decker's scowl burned. Ruiz's head hung. Malone's silence a wall. Tate's hands trembled, tears streaking. Greg Tatum's tie hung loose, shirt untucked, defeat in his slump. Judge Amos Harrow took the bench at 9:20. Glasses fogged, voice gravelly. Day 5 closing arguments. Greg stood first, voice shaky, pacing unevenly. These men, overzealous, yes, but not criminals. Mistakes, not malice. Tapes twisted. Witnesses coached. No proof ties them to banks. Dismiss this federal overreach. He waved at the 4. Decker nodded. Ruiz stared at the floor. Malone flexed. Tate whimpered. The gallery murmured. Kane smirked. Jamal shook his head. Greg sat, wiping sweat, briefcase half-packed, his fight spent. Voss rose, suit crisp, voice steel, cutting the hum. Overzealous? They ran a racket: extortion, beatings, theft, evidence torched. 6 months of tapes, bank trails, victims' scars, undeniable. She pointed. Decker flinched. Ruiz sank. Decker ordered. Malone broke. Ruiz counted. Tate burned, systematic, not mistakes. Perry saw it. Jamal, Patel, Ortiz lived it. $200,000 offshore. Their hands dirty. Federal law demands justice. She slapped the table. Tapes, photos, records stacked high. They thought they'd walk again. Not today. The gallery stirred. Patel clapped. Kane's glare hardened. Holt leaned back, glasses off, rubbing his eyes. Rebuttal? Greg stammered. Unfair, entrapment. Voss countered. They acted. Perry recorded. No entrapment, just truth. Holt waved them down. Enough. Recess. Verdict at 2 p.m. The courtroom erupted. Reporters swarmed. Victims hugged. Kane slipped out, whispering to a cop. Decker roared as agents led them away. "You're dead, Voss!" Ruiz slumped. Malone glared. Tate sobbed. Day 5's close loomed, their fate sealed. Harrow returned at 2:05. Gallery hushed, air thick. He adjusted his glasses, voice steady. "I've reviewed tapes, records, testimony. Local dismissals void, federal evidence holds. Decker, Ruiz, Malone. Tate guilty on all counts. Racketeering, extortion, assault, tampering. Sentencing pending, remanded to federal custody." The gavel fell sharp, final. Decker lunged. "I'll kill you all." Agents pinned him. Ruiz collapsed. Malone stared. Tate wailed. The gallery cheered. Jamal stood. Patel wept. Ortiz clapped. Justice landed, clear and loud. Agents hauled them out, Decker kicking, Ruiz limp, Malone rigid, Tate sobbing to federal vans parked on Lafayette Street. Sirens cutting Detroit's dusk. Crowds swelled hundreds now. Shopkeepers, teens, victims chanting, "Lock 'em up! Lock 'em!" Channel 7's cameras rolled anchor, breathless. FBI Director Voss dismantles Precinct 12, 4 cops guilty, city reels. Voss faced mics at 3:00 p.m. "Justice starts here. More's coming. Corruption ends today." Jamal joined her, voice hoarse. "They broke us. Now we're free." Luis and Deshawn nodded, scars bared, hope raw. Inside Precinct 12, Kane rallied his 10, in the basement lockers slammed, voices low. "She's next Fed bitch thinks she's won. Tomorrow night, Jefferson car bomb." Perry caught wind, texting Voss at 4:00. "Kane's planning heard it. Watch your back." Her phone buzzed in the courthouse hall. She nodded to an agent. "Tail Kane now." Detroit split wider. Hope blazed in beaten corners. Bodegas flying banners. No more fear. Anger festered in blue ranks. Kane's crew arming up. That night, Voss's car rolled slow down Jefferson, headlights trailed, closer now. She gripped her Glock, radio crackling. "Agent down, Kane's loose." A blast rocked the block. Her driver swerved. Glass shattering. Smoke rising, not her car. A decoy. Kane's gambit missed. She lived. November 15th dawned. Tense crowds rallied outside the courthouse. Jamal leading. "We're done bleeding!" 5 more victims joined. Stories matching Perry's tapes. A chorus growing. Voss stood on her hotel balcony at midnight. Detroit's skyline jagged, Kane's note burned in her pocket. "Back off or bleed." Perry's voice buzzed her phone. "Kane's hiding precincts cracking. More cops flipping." She gazed out, justice clear. Undeniable. Long overdue. But the city's scars pulsed. Kane lurked, a shadow uncaught. Victims rose, voices loud. Would he strike again or fade? Would Detroit heal or fracture? Voss holstered her Glock. Her fight stretched on, the end unwritten. Detroit's pulse a restless drum. Thank you all for watching this video. Please comment and let me know what you think about this story. Please like and subscribe to watch more great content on my channel.